So recently, there has been some latest developments surrounding the Dangote Refinery, which is a significant player in Nigeria's petroleum sector. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority clarified that Dangote Refinery is still in the pre-commissioning stage and has not yet been licensed.
Shocking. Amid concerns about petroleum product supply and quality, as well as challenges in securing crude feedstock, what does the future hold for the ambitious project? Well, to answer these critical questions and other related issues, we have with us Owade Ahimi, Head Strategist and Public Affairs, Nairametrics. You are welcome. Good to have you here.
Welcome. I'm welcome. Yeah, thanks for having me. And I'm feeling at home. I was in
it's good to see you too.
And it's great to see you.
Thank you indeed.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing me here.
I was going to start by asking first of, if it's not too soon to start picketing at the infrastructure of the Dangote Refinery and its products. Yes, they say it's below commission, what's it called?
Pre-commissioning
stage now, but
and
then
it's
again,
45% at completion, and we should not put all our eggs in one basket.
Yeah, but what gives here? What are your thoughts on this?
So first and foremost, I think Dangote Refinery should focus on doing its business, which is building the facility and refining crude. Going out and looking for its source of crude and not dependent on one supplier, which is what they've been doing. And I'm happy they're doing that. But they should just focus and, get out of the news and do business the way business is meant to be done, and not on the pages of the newspaper, which over the last 2-3 weeks is what has been happening. So focus on doing the business. You have the connects. The refinery is ready. It's producing Jet A1 and diesel. We're waiting for PMS to come out, and then just do the things that you need to do, like the regulatory body said. Get your licensing. Forget what anybody is saying. Are you going to contribute to the economy? Oh, yes, you're already contributing to the economy because you're employing so many people. You built an infrastructure that going into $20 billion. And that is huge investment in Nigeria. So focus on now getting to the next stage, which is running the refinery, putting out your products, selling them, and let marketers come in there and do business with you. Arm's length transaction, let me put it that way.
The executive director of the NMDPRA, he made certain statements. He says that it's not 45%, it's 45% complete, that's Dangote Refineries, and it's pre-commissioned. But he also said something. He mentioned concerns about energy security and the potential monopoly if Dangote Refinery were to be the sole supplier. What do you think about these concerns that he mentioned?
And I think they're valid concerns. We've seen, NMPC, when they were the sole refiner of petroleum products in Nigeria. They've been since forever. And what happened? So monopoly really is not the best way to go. It's never been in economic terms, it's never been the best form of economic management for a system. But let's also remember that there are some other people who are investing in refineries. I know there are other smaller players who've invested in refineries a long time before now. What you call the singular refinery, modular refineries. I'm not going to give anybody PR, but there are a number of them who have been doing that, processing diesel and put it into the market. So I think with Dangote having this large infrastructure and that could change and is already changing the dynamics of the industry, I think everybody needs to sit down in that industry, are you with me, and look at what is the way forward. We've seen the Nigerian refineries itself all go from producing high quality products to not producing anymore. This is over my lifetime, in the last 30 years. And do we want the same? Do we think monopoly is good for the economy in Nigeria? I don't think so. I don't believe so. There are other players in this industry who want to also invest in refinery, but Dangote is the first, so let's push it on and get that done. let's also remember that the issue of refining is just one part of managing the downstream sector. There's logistics, meaning storage. So if you say, and this is just speaking out of, trying to express my context, if Dangote becomes a monopoly, what happens to all the tank farms in Apapa? What happens to all the tank farms in Kirikiri? What happens to all the tank farms in the satellite area?
Excellent.
Are you now going to tell us that those who have committed trillions of naira into investments and infrastructure in Nigeria should just go sit down, and if Dangote doesn't have product, then everybody should sit down?
So it seems
and these are things that we need to look at. The government needs to be very careful about this, and there's nowhere in the world where it's one refinery only that provides you the source of your petroleum product.
Well, it is very funny that this is the instance, because it seems like everything is bent on this facility, this Dangote Refinery, which is in itself a private investment. Should it be so in
No,
a
it shouldn't be
sovereign
so.
such as
What it should
Nigeria?
be is that look at the oil and gas sector. What kind of additional investments do we require? One of the things for me with refineries is two things. Major refineries, and when I say major refineries, some of the big refineries in the world, they don't do retails. That means you don't get trucks coming into the refineries maybe once in a while. So you have pipelines that are connecting other infrastructure so that you can pump them out. You have ships and vessels who come to
Dangote
pick them
doesn't
up.
have that.
He doesn't. He has
And neither
the
does he
harbor for
have
the
the
ships
facility to
for the
actually
small
even-
vessels to come pick them up. But
Exactly.
he doesn't have the pipelines that connect them. I think what we should be looking at here in this industry is how do we start to collaborate to have that underwater pipeline that gets us to Apapa, that gets us to Kirikiri, that gets us to satellite, so that the refinery at its full capacity is forever pumping products into the heart of the city.
I also want to talk about Farouk Ahmed's comment about the AGO content of the diesel. Is it diesel now? It being
The quality.
the quality, yeah. It being inferior. You spoke about quality, and that's why this is coming up. He said that it's inferior. Dangote has, however, come out to tell that, hey, our sulfur content is okay, but there seems to be so much inspection, so much microanalysis, scrutiny on the processes, and yet they say you're not even ready, Seth.
Well, let's remember one thing. For every system, there are standards. There are minimum and maximum. So, and there range in between for how much content, or whether it's sulfur or it's ammonia or whatever within the product. And I don't think it's inferior. It just might be not on the higher side in terms of quality. But if it's inferior, what it then means is that it shouldn't even be pushed into the markets in Nigeria. So let's be careful about that. I don't think it's inferior because people are buying it, marketers are buying from him. Are you with me? So it can't be inferior. You can't sell Jet 81 that doesn't meet the requirements. That's standard. Otherwise, you want planes falling down from the skies. And I don't think anybody in Nigeria or the world wants that.
Well, speaking of Aliko Dangote and the refinery, he's mentioned difficulties in securing crude feedstock from international oil companies, IOCs. How might this, impact the refinery's operations once it's fully commissioned?
So let's also remember that trading, those who trade in crude, it's a business too. So it's willing buyer, willing seller. So sometimes some of these products are not there, and then they've already pledged to different refineries or different other sellers, and so on and so forth. So what I think, like I said, Dangote Refinery should start doing now is sit down. The refinery is, if according to the MP, the DPR, that it's 45% completion, let's start focusing on the main issues now. It's no longer about building the refinery, it's not about doing the business. So who are we going to get crude from? What kind of contracts do we want to be signing? Are we signing just in time, or are we hedging against different things? These are the kind of things, and these are the kind of thinking that those in the management of the business should be looking at. So who are the suppliers? If you say the IOCs in Nigeria don't want to sell to me, who are the other IOCs across the world who are willing to? And some of them buy products from Nigeria. Let's remember that, and How much is it going to cost? And these are the mechanisms and the models I think they should be looking at.
So now let's bring it home to the guy who's living in Flat 1, Block A, in perhaps maybe Bagada, and how it concerns him and his pockets. Dangote Refinery. We've been hearing about this for 3 years now, non-stop. And then all the hullabaloo that's happening currently with everybody taking good scrutiny at what's happening. However, infuse competition. Dangote Refinery versus the NNPCL, or whatever refineries, whichever one we still have, if we still have them. What will it bring to the table for the common man? Am I going to get fuel at a reduced cost? Will it fluctuate with market forces? Is he, maybe because of where he's getting his raw materials from? These are questions that people need answers to, so that they can get a very good grip on the arguments that are going on. Will I buy fuel for less than 750 naira currently, or 650 naira as it is supposed to be?
I don't know whether you buy fuel at less than 650 naira or 750 naira. What I think should happen, and if everyone decides to focus on what we require in the market, is to open up the competition completely. Monopoly has never worked in Nigeria. We see it, we've seen it. Dangote himself, as a human being, is a fantastic entrepreneur. I'm sure when you also look at some of his business models, it's more tending towards monopolistic tendencies, and that's my opinion, not the opinion of anyone else. But the fact remains that the NMPC and the government shouldn't push the Dangote refinery in the same direction that it pushed all the Nigerian refineries. And at the end of the day, are you with me? If it breaks down, or there is a turnaround maintenance, let's always remember that. Let's even not talk about breakdowns. When there is a major turnaround maintenance and you're not working at 60, 70, 80, 90% capacity, what happens to the common man? What plans are in place to make sure that that gap, that short gap, is being checked? Is it going to be importation? And when you're importing them, does it reflect the prices that you have, whether it's currently or at that particular time, on the pumps? These are things that we should be looking at in oil and gas. And it's not just one person. It's the industry as a whole. Having been there for a very long time, these are things I know, these are things I've seen, and these are the kind of collaborations in terms of having large logistics facilities that can take up products and store them for the rainy day and so on at lower prices, blending facilities we require in Nigeria. These are the kind of discussions I need to be hearing going forward, not Dangote Refinery is 45% complete, or Dangote Refinery can't get feedstock. It beats me that this is the news that we're still hearing. After hearing so much about the Nigerian refineries that are not working.
Recently there's been calls for a resignation of the boss of the downstream sector, which is none other than Mr. Farouk Ahmed, since his statements about Dangote refineries. What do you make of this calls for his head on the chopping block?
This is a seasoned professional. He's been in the industry, if it's too short, at least 2 decades, if not more. He's gone through the ranks and the ropes of the industry in different areas of the industry. And if, as the head of the regulatory body, comes out and makes a statement, then I should be able to give the regulatory body the benefit of the doubt. And having been in industry and working with the regulatory body, I can tell you for free that when it comes to safety, when it comes to facility, in terms of it being to the highest quality and standard, they don't compromise.